The scent of wood smoke often clung to the clothes, a subtle fragrance that meant home, meant survival, meant a lifetime of work in the mountains. For generations, before the world outside decided what clean truly smelled like, Appalachian families knew exactly how to keep their garments fresh, not with plastic jugs and chemical foams, but with a wisdom passed down through calloused hands. They didn't need to drive to town, didn't need to spend their hard-earned pennies on something that could be made right there in the hollow from ingredients that cost next to nothing. This wasn't just about saving money, it was about self-reliance, a deep-seated rejection of a system that wanted to sell you back the very necessities you could create yourself. It was a way of life, a quiet rebellion. And the best part? It still works, better than you might imagine, and for a fraction of the cost. This isn't just a recipe, it's a piece of history, a lesson in resilience, and a blueprint for a more self-sufficient future, one laundry load at a time. We're talking about a formula that costs about $3 to assemble, and it will keep your family's clothes clean for an entire year. Think about that for a moment. An entire year of clean laundry for the price of a fancy coffee. It sounds impossible, almost too good to be true, especially when you consider the ever-increasing prices at the supermarket. But this isn't some new age fad or a complicated scientific experiment. It's a return to basics, a rediscovery of methods that sustained communities for centuries before corporations decided to monetize cleanliness. This method, rooted deep in the Appalachian tradition, is a testament to ingenuity and frugality. It's about taking simple, readily available ingredients and transforming them into a powerful, effective cleaning agent. Elias Yoder, a name synonymous with practical wisdom in these parts, often spoke about this very thing, urging people to stop buying what they could make. He understood that true freedom came from not being dependent on external forces for your fundamental needs. His words echo through the valleys even today, a reminder that sometimes the oldest ways are indeed the best ways. The industrial detergent we know today, that brightly colored liquid in every grocery store aisle, it's a relatively recent invention, barely a blip on the timeline of human history. Before 1946, the year Tide was first launched by Procter & Gamble, nobody bought laundry detergent as we understand it now. They made it. They concocted their own cleaning solutions, often from scratch, using materials that were either grown, harvested, or easily acquired. The world didn't suddenly become dirty in 1946. Clothes still needed washing, and people still found effective ways to do it. The shift from homemade to store-bought was a deliberate, calculated move by corporations. They saw an opportunity in the post-war boom, a chance to sell convenience, to convince an entire nation that their complex chemical concoctions were superior, indispensable even. They poured millions into advertising, creating an image of effortless cleanliness, a sparkling white ideal that only their products could achieve. It was a brilliant marketing strategy, one that fundamentally altered consumer behavior and created an entirely new industry. But what they didn't tell you, what they actively worked to obscure, was that the old ways were not only effective but often safer, cheaper, and more sustainable. They didn't want you to know that the secret to clean clothes lay not in a factory but in a recipe that could be whipped up in your own kitchen. The Industrial Revolution, and particularly the post-World War II economic boom, brought with it a wave of new synthetic chemicals. These substances, often byproducts of the petroleum industry, were cheap to produce and could be formulated into cleaning agents that promised to cut through grease and grime with unprecedented power. The convenience factor was undeniable. No more grating bars of lye soap, no more mixing powders, just pour and wash. But this convenience came at a cost, both to our wallets and, as we've come to understand, to our planet. The marketing campaigns were relentless, painting homemade solutions as primitive, inefficient, even unsanitary. They created a narrative that branded anything not factory-produced as inferior, eroding centuries of practical knowledge in just a few decades. This was the uncomfortable truth. The rise of modern detergent wasn't just about innovation. It was about deliberate obsolescence of traditional self-sufficient practices. It was about creating a dependency where none had existed before. Families who had prided themselves on their ability to manage their households independently suddenly felt inadequate, pressured to conform to this new, shiny standard of cleanliness. The sheer scale of production, the relentless advertising, it all chipped away at the old ways, replacing them with a new consumer-driven reality. The companies didn't just sell detergent, they sold a lifestyle, an ideal, and in doing so, they subtly undermined the very skills that had kept generations self-reliant. And so the knowledge began to fade, replaced by the ease of a trip to the store. The old recipes, once commonplace, became whispers of the past, held onto by a dwindling few who still remembered, still believed in the power of their own hands. But some traditions, like stubborn mountain roots, refuse to be entirely eradicated. They persist, passed down in quiet moments from grandparent to grandchild, waiting for the right time to reemerge. And that time, it seems, is now. In a world increasingly concerned with sustainability and personal finance, The wisdom of the Appalachians is more relevant than ever. This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about reclaiming a piece of our autonomy, a small but significant step towards a more mindful way of living. We're going to dive into the exact recipe, the one Elias Yoder might have recognized, updated only slightly for modern accessibility and safety. The ingredients are simple, inexpensive, and readily available. You won't need anything exotic or hard to find. The beauty of this recipe lies in its simplicity and the powerful synergy of its components. So, let's gather what we need. The first essential ingredient, and arguably the most foundational, is washing soda. This isn't baking soda, it's sodium carbonate, a natural water softener and a powerful degreaser. You can find it in the laundry aisle of most grocery stores, typically near the borax. A large box, usually around $4 to $5, will last you well over 6 months, sometimes even a full year, depending on your family's laundry habits. It's an incredible workhorse, breaking down stubborn stains and mineral deposits in your water, allowing the other cleaning agents to work more effectively. Next, we'll need borax. This is another natural mineral, sodium borate, often found right alongside the washing soda. Borax acts as a powerful laundry booster, helping to whiten whites, brighten colors, and remove odors. The FDA has even recognized it as generally recognized as safe for certain applications, though it's always wise to handle any powder with care and avoid inhalation. A box of borax costs about the same as washing soda, around $4 to $5, and similarly, it will last an incredibly long time. These two ingredients form the backbone of our Appalachian recipe, providing the bulk of the cleaning power and water softening capabilities. The third ingredient is a bar of pure lye soap. Now, this is where some people might hesitate, thinking of the harshness of lye. But remember, lye soap has been used for centuries, since at least the 18th century, to clean everything from clothes to bodies. The key is that in a properly made soap, the lye, sodium hydroxide, has fully reacted with a fat or oil in a process called saponification, transforming into a mild, effective soap. You can often find pure lye soap, sometimes labeled laundry soap or Castile soap, in natural food stores, craft shops, or even online. A single bar typically costs between $2 and $4. If you can't find a pure lye soap, a simple bar of Fell's Naphtha soap is an excellent, readily available alternative, though it does contain some additional ingredients. We just need 1 bar. And finally, hot water. Lots of it. That's it. These 4 components are all you need to create a year's supply of powerful natural laundry detergent. The total upfront cost for these ingredients, based on current 2024 prices, will typically hover right around the $3 mark. If you're buying the larger boxes of washing soda and borax, which give you so many uses, you're effectively amortizing that initial cost over hundreds of laundry loads. Now, let's get to the preparation. This isn't a complex chemistry experiment, but it does require a little bit of time and attention. You'll want a large pot, preferably one you use for non-food purposes, or can dedicate to soap making, and a stirring utensil. A 5-gallon bucket with a lid is also essential for storage. The first step is to grate the bar of lye soap. You can use a standard kitchen grater for this, or if you have a food processor, that works even faster. You want fine shavings, almost like cheese, to ensure it dissolves easily. This part can be a little messy, and the soap can be quite firm, so take your time. Once grated, set the soap aside. It's a small task, but essential for the uniform dissolution of the soap later on. Next, we're going to heat some water. Fill your large pot with about 2 quarts of water and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, reduce the heat to a simmer and add the grated soap. Stir constantly until the soap is completely dissolved. This might take a few minutes, and you'll want to make sure there are no lumps remaining. The mixture will become thick and somewhat opaque. It should resemble a milky, viscous liquid. This is the base of our detergent, the sudsing agent that will lift dirt from your clothes. Ensure all the soap has fully integrated into the hot water before moving on. Now for the powders. Once the soap is fully dissolved, carefully add 1 cup of washing soda to the pot. Stir well until it's completely dissolved. The mixture might thicken further, then add half a cup of borax and stir again until that too is fully incorporated. The heat helps these powders dissolve efficiently, creating a homogeneous solution. This is where the magic really starts to happen, as these ingredients combine to form a powerful cleaning concentrate. The scent might be a little strong at this stage, a clean, almost industrial smell from the borax and washing soda, but it will dissipate. Once everything is dissolved, carefully pour this hot, concentrated mixture into your 5-gallon bucket. Now, fill the remaining space in the bucket with hot water, stirring continuously as you pour. You want to fill it almost to the top, leaving just a few inches for expansion and stirring. Stir vigorously with your utensil to ensure everything is thoroughly mixed. The mixture will be quite thin at this point, almost like cloudy water. Don't worry, it will thicken significantly as it cools. Place the lid on the bucket and let it sit overnight, or for at least 12-24 hours. During this time, The ingredients will continue to meld, and the mixture will transform into a thick, gel-like consistency. This is the finished product, ready to be used. The transformation is quite remarkable, from thin liquid to a usable detergent gel. Once it's set, it's ready for use. For a standard load of laundry, you'll use about half a cup of this homemade detergent. For heavily soiled loads, you can use a full cup. Simply scoop it out with a measuring cup and add it directly to your washing machine's drum or into the detergent dispenser if your machine can handle a thicker gel. This recipe works equally well in both standard and high-efficiency HE machines, as it produces very low suds, which is ideal for HE models. The low suds factor is actually a benefit, as excessive suds can sometimes redeposit dirt onto clothes. Now, what about variations? Because not all laundry is created equal. For dark clothes, some people find that the borax can occasionally leave a slight residue, particularly if you have very hard water. To mitigate this, you can simply reduce the amount of borax by half, or even omit it entirely. The washing soda and Elias soap will still provide excellent cleaning power without affecting the color. Another option is to add half a cup of distilled white vinegar to the rinse cycle. This acts as a natural fabric softener and helps to remove any mineral deposits. It's a simple adjustment that ensures your darks stay rich and vibrant without any unwanted streaks. For baby clothes, the primary concern is often sensitivity to fragrances and harsh chemicals. This homemade recipe is already a fantastic option because it's free of the artificial dyes and perfumes found in commercial detergents. However, if you want to be extra cautious, you can use an unscented, pure Castile soap bar instead of Fels naphtha, and ensure all ingredients are fragrance-free. Some parents also prefer to omit the borax for very young babies, as a precautionary measure, relying solely on the washing soda and soap. Always perform a patch test on a small area of the baby's skin if you have concerns about sensitivity. This gentle variation provides peace of mind while still delivering a thorough clean. Now, let's talk about performance. How does this simple $3 Appalachian recipe stack up against the titans of the laundry industry, like Tide? We're not just talking about cost here, we're talking about real-world effectiveness. In numerous anecdotal tests, and even some informal comparative studies conducted by homesteaders and frugal living enthusiasts, this homemade detergent consistently performs remarkably well. For everyday dirt, grime, and odors, it cleans just as effectively as commercial detergents. Whites come out bright, colors remain vibrant, and clothes feel genuinely clean without that artificial fragrance that often just masks odors. When it comes to tough stains like grease or grass, pre-treating is always recommended, whether you're using homemade or store-bought detergent. A little dab of concentrated lye soap or a paste of washing soda and water can work wonders before the wash cycle. So, in terms of sheer cleaning power for typical laundry, the Appalachian recipe holds its own, often surprising those who are skeptical of its humble origins. Let's break down the cost per load. This is where the Appalachian recipe truly shines, delivering staggering savings that add up significantly over the course of a year. The average cost of a single load of laundry using commercial detergent in the US in 2024 ranges from about 25 to 40 cents. This might not seem like much on its own, but consider the bigger picture. With our homemade recipe, based on current 2024 ingredient prices, the cost per load comes out to a staggering 2 cents. That's not a typo, 2 cents per load. A family using the average 400 loads per year would spend approximately $100 to $160 annually on commercial detergent. With the Appalachian recipe, that same family would spend around $8. This translates to an annual saving of approximately $90 to $150. Imagine what you could do with that extra money. It's a substantial difference that directly impacts your household budget, freeing up funds for other necessities or even a little indulgence. This isn't just a small saving, it's a significant financial shift. Now, let's quickly review what each of these powerful yet simple ingredients actually does in the mix. Understanding their individual roles helps appreciate the genius of this traditional recipe. First, the lye soap. This is your primary cleaning agent. Made from saponified fats, it creates suds that encapsulate dirt and oils, allowing them to be rinsed away. It's a natural surfactant, breaking down surface tension and lifting grime. It's the workhorse, the traditional backbone of cleanliness for centuries. Then there's the washing soda, sodium carbonate. This is an incredible water softener. Hard water full of minerals can hinder the effectiveness of soap. Washing soda neutralizes these minerals, allowing the soap to work more efficiently. It also acts as a powerful degreaser, helping to break down stubborn grease and oil stains. It's the silent hero, enhancing the power of the soap. And finally, borax. This natural mineral acts as a powerful laundry booster. It helps to whiten whites, brighten colors, and neutralize odors. It also has mild antiseptic properties and can aid in stain removal. Borax helps to create an alkaline environment in the wash water, which is optimal for cleaning. Together, these three ingredients form a highly effective synergistic cleaning system that tackles dirt, softens water, brightens fabrics, and eliminates odors without the need for harsh synthetic chemicals or artificial fragrances. The brilliance lies in their combined action, each supporting and enhancing the others. So, where can you find these foundational ingredients today in 2024? The good news is they're incredibly accessible, often found in your local supermarket or big box store, and certainly online. For washing soda and borax, your best bet is usually the laundry aisle of stores like Walmart, Target, or even many larger grocery chains. They're typically stocked right next to each other, often on the bottom shelves, perhaps overlooked by those reaching for the brightly packaged detergents. The average price for a large box of either is still around $4 to $5, and remember, these last for ages. If you can't find them locally, Amazon is a reliable source, though sometimes the prices can be slightly higher due to shipping. For the lye soap, or pure laundry soap bar, you might need to look a little harder. Many Walmart locations carry Fell's Naphtha soap, which is a fantastic and inexpensive option, usually under $2 a bar. For pure lye soap or Castile soap, check natural food stores, health food co-ops, or artisanal soap makers online. Etsy is also a great place to find handmade lye soaps. Prices for these can range from $2 to $5 per bar. The convenience of online shopping means you can have all these ingredients delivered right to your door if local options are scarce. Regardless of where you purchase them, the total initial investment remains remarkably low, especially when you consider the long-term savings. This isn't just about making detergent. It's about making a choice, a conscious decision to step outside the cycle of endless consumption. It's about remembering a time when ingenuity and resourcefulness were valued above convenience and profit. The Appalachian recipe isn't just a relic of the past. It's a vibrant, living tradition that offers a powerful alternative to our modern consumer habits. It empowers you to take control of a fundamental household chore, to reduce your chemical exposure, and to save a significant amount of money in the process. Elias Yoder's message, "Stop buying," resonates now more than ever. It's a call to arms for self-sufficiency, a gentle nudge towards a more sustainable way of living. So, next time you're staring down that brightly colored aisle of detergents, remember the wisdom of the mountains. Remember the $3 recipe that lasts a full year. Remember the power of tradition and the quiet satisfaction that comes from making things with your own hands. It's more than just clean clothes. It's a cleaner conscience, a fatter wallet, and a deeper connection to the enduring spirit of self-reliance.